Hi Rose! Today's video is going to be about book series that I intend to finish. Am I saying series is right, by the way? Is it series or different series or whatever. Anyway, the 4 series I'm going to talk to you about today are series that I started a few years ago and I just didn't finish for various reasons, such as I was waiting for the next books to come out. I intended to buy the books at a later date and just forgot and never got round to it. The first book series I want to talk to you about is the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. I started reading these a few years ago and got up to the 4th book, but I didn't read past that as they weren't released yet, and I think as time went on I just forgot about them and I just didn't end up picking them up again. I recently read the Infernal Devices series by the same author and I really enjoyed it. I've also been watching the Shadowhunter TV show, or the Mortal Instruments TV show, and I've been really enjoying that. And it kind of reminded me that I hadn't finished this series and I feel like I need to finish it to know what happens to the characters as well. Plus I bought Lady Midnight this month and I just kind of feel like I need to finish this before I can start it, that I need to get up to date with all the Cassandra Clare novels so that I can start Lady Midnight and kind of start afresh, if you get what I mean. I'm probably going to end up having to reread all this series as I have forgot quite a lot of what happens. So that's kind of going to be my to read in the next few months, is to reread Mortal Instruments and get the series finished. For some reason as well, I only actually have City of Ashes in print and I have the rest of them on my Kindle, which is strange because I don't usually do that. Usually if I buy one book on my Kindle, I buy the rest of them on my Kindle, or if I buy one book in print, I buy the rest of them in print. So I think I'm going to get the rest of these in print, as my favourite series and authors that I love, I tend to buy them in print, and I love Cassandra Clare's work and I really enjoyed the Mortal Instruments when I was reading it at the time. So yeah, definitely one for me to finish in the next few months. The next series I'm going to talk about is the Sucky Stackhouse Chronicles by Charlene Harris. I started reading these a few years ago again, and not all of them were out by the time I got up to date, so I think I did just fall off the bandwagon with them a little bit. I forgot that the books were coming out. I did buy a few of them as they were released. I only actually have the last book to get up to date with, so I just really need to read that book and get it out the way so I know what happens. I haven't read any spoilers on this, so I don't know what happens in the last book. I'm probably going to have to reread a few of them again, more so the later books. So I'm going to reread the last few anyway, and then I'm going to pick up the last one and get it out the way and find out what happens. As I did fall out of love with this series a little bit towards the end. I think it got a little bit ridiculous. As it was one of my favourite books at the time, I just feel like I owe it to myself to finish it. The next series I need to finish is the House of Night series by PC Cast. PC Cast was probably one of my favourite young adult authors when I was growing up, like in my late teens. I loved all of her books. I loved the Divine series. I loved the Goddess series where she did a book on each of the goddesses, and I just really enjoyed her writing style. Again, with these, when I got up to date, all of the books weren't released, and so I kind of fell off with them a little bit again. The last one I read was Burned, which is book 7 or 8 maybe. There's 12 books in the series, so I have a bit of catching up to do. For some reason as well, the dust cover from this has gone missing and I don't know where it's gone, so that's quite frustrating. Definitely need to get updated with this series. Again, I think I did fall a bit out of love with this series towards the end. I think it just dragged on a little bit, but I do feel like I need to know what happens in it and what happens to the characters. Hopefully I shall be finishing this series in 2016. The last series I'm going to talk about is the Morganville Vampire series by Rachel Kane. I think the last book in this series actually came out this month on March 1st. So I really do need to get caught up. I can't even remember what book I'm on because some of them I've got in print, some of them I've got in my Kindle. So I'm gonna need to reorganize myself with this, probably buy them all in print because I've seen these in the works for £1. I've got no excuse really not to pick them all up. And recently I have read another of Rachel Kane's books called Ink and Bone. It was such a unique story and it's inspired me a little bit really to pick up the rest of her books and just finish them off. And I need to stop with reading different series halfway through and then stopping with them because I really enjoy them at the time and then I just forget what's happened and I move on to different things, and I just really need to go back, finish things, get it all out the way and done with, make my shelves complete instead of half finished series is just sitting there. Anyway, that's it for today. Do let me know if you have any series that you still need to finish or that you're stuck halfway through. Bye!